If you're watching this, I'm dead.
Gotham Knights came out nearly 2 weeks ago, and, well, it's a game. I'll be the first to admit that when I saw all the trailers, I was not happy with the game, and my expectations were pretty low going into it. But honestly, 40-ish hours later, it's pretty entertaining, especially in co-op, and I don't think I can call it a bad game. However, most of the issues I ran into were related to co-op, so it's kind of a double-edged sword, but we'll get to that later. I'm going to be avoiding any story spoilers for people who want to play the game themselves. However, there will be a few clips used from certain boss fights, only from bosses who were shown in the promo material though, so don't worry too much about that. I also took my time playing through the game. I didn't want to just bum rush the main story so I could put out a review, because that's not really how people play games. That's not how I play games, at least. I'd probably have a worse experience if I did that. That being said, the story of Gotham Knights is decent. There's some character choices that don't personally make sense for me as a fan of the comics, and a few pretty big oversights, but if you think of Gotham Knights as one of the alternate Earths, the story is actually pretty fun, with lots of side content that actually play into the main story of the world and add more depth to the content and characters involved in that main storyline. Doing side content didn't feel tedious and useless, either because they gave us useful items or contributed to the lore in some way. Bruce's audio logs are probably the biggest example of this. You get these just by doing these little secret cache missions all over Gotham, and he actually says things relevant to the current situation and help to provide background on a lot of the villains and why they're in circumstances they're in. Just little tidbits of lore that I guess ultimately don't matter, but do flesh out the characters in the story in a really important way. Overall, it's definitely not Borderlands 3 main story levels of bad, where you're just praying for the dialogue to stop so you can get back to the gameplay, and that makes the story of Gotham Knights passable for me. It's also a big bonus that you can go through the entire game in co-op mode, minus a few tutorial missions at the start of the game, and unlike Far Cry 5, if you're player 2 in the co-op lobby, that story progress? Yeah, you still get it unlocked on your own solo game. It gives you the option to sync the progress you made in someone else's lobby, and you still get to unlock all the items tied to that story progression. I'm looking at you, Far Cry 5. I should have gotten John's plane too. I was there when we killed him. Just because I was player 2 doesn't mean you can treat me like a second class. The combat. This is another thing the trailers made look unexciting for me, but in-game actually turned out pretty fun. The takedowns and combos just feel good, and they give you so many different options in playstyle with the ability trees. I ended up doing a really memey Robin build, spamming smoke bombs and nanomachines before grappling into the air just to spam aerial takedowns. Are these good pro-level strats? No, but it was fun. Do you like stealth and Metal Gear-like mechanics? Play Robin and build into that. Do you like flipping through the air, bouncing off enemies' heads like you're in a Mario game? Nightwing can combo his aerial attacks. Did you like Saints Row a little too much? Just play Red Hood. It's Saints Row. What do you want? To be honest, I didn't really spend much time as Batgirl because I never really liked Barbara too much as a character, so I don't have much to say about her, but she pretty much just plays like Batman from the other games and feels the most tanky out of the Gotham Knights lineup. The co-op combat, however, could be improved. There's a mechanic called a team attack where one player can grab an enemy and toss them to the other player in like a cool combo cutscene. When these are done smoothly, they're really fun. When they're done smoothly. Most of the time, you either won't know your partner is trying to initiate a team attack unless you hear the little voice line over all the combat noise, or it'll time out because you spent a full minute running in circles trying to find the hitbox for the prompt while your partner is standing there holding onto the enemy. I'm not even kidding about that. It really breaks the flow of combat when you have to run in dumb little circles to find the exact spot the game wants you to stand in order to press that button. This lack of flow also applies to the boss fights. The amount of times I had to cancel the mission and restart just because the game decided to screw itself into a hard lock or a glitch, or even just straight up crashing during the final part of the boss fight. I say final part because if you don't know, Gotham Knights has you go through a whole mission sequence before a big fight, and if you die or have to restart for whatever reason, you have to do the whole entire mission leading up to that fight again. If we died, sure, I'll take that walk of shame, I earned it. but the game crashing, kicking my co-op partner, or whatever this is. I can't move. Yeah, I can't move.
Fantastic. I'll get rid of you right now. Oh, I got disconnected.
Yes, but I can't move either. And they're not moving either.
I'm doing Gotham a favor.
No, I'm going to be running through that mission as fast as possible, and I'm gonna be upset about it when I get back to the boss fight, waiting to see if it'll crash again. Any sense of flow or story is wasted on me at that point because I'm just annoyed. The actual design of the boss fights, though, were really well done in my opinion. They didn't feel repetitive or grindy, and each boss fight felt unique in the mechanics and playstyle. Harley, who you've probably already seen her fight in the press footage, was actually the most straightforward boss with the exact type of fight you'd expect from this game. I don't want to say too much on this topic in order to avoid spoilers, but Mr. Freeze, who was also shown as one of the bosses in the trailers, I really enjoyed fighting him, and even his mission sections leading up to them. Yeah, it might just be because of my love for games like Monster Hunter and Borderlands, but I had genuine fun, despite my game crashing and a few visual glitches here and there. A lot of these glitches were pretty funny and made the game more enjoyable. I don't know if this can be considered a positive for the game though, since it was more like the type of fun you'd get from getting drunk and watching The Room with your friends. I also had a pretty big issue with my game crashing, and to be fair, I'll admit it could be due to the fact that I was both hosting the co-op lobby and streaming on Twitch. However, crashing 4 or 5 times in a 6-hour stream, that can't be all on me. My PC is not that bad to be crashing just from streaming a game. Even Cyberpunk 2077 only crashed like once in my entire history running around Night City. My co-op partner would also just randomly have their game freeze and get kicked from the lobby as well, causing us to have to restart quite a few times. There's also a movement ability unique to each character. Nightwing and Batgirl have gliders, Red Hood can air jump, and Robin uses the Justice League satellite to teleport short distances. I don't know why no one in the Justice League is checking up on that, but I guess they just don't care. These can be fun to travel with, but a lot of the times they just feel clunky and unresponsive. I'll admit this could be a skill issue, but I'd consider myself an average level gamer, and those time trials made me want to throw my controller across the room. I didn't even do most of them because I just gave up. Overall, Gotham Knights is not as bad as all the reviews make it seem, and despite how many negative things I just said about it. Co-op is a huge improvement to the game, making it a far more enjoyable experience in my opinion, and I'm really excited to see how 4-player co-op functions when Warner Bros. Finally gets that implemented. That being said, I do stream over on Twitch, so maybe consider checking me out over there, and also subscribing to the channel here on YouTube, since I want to put out more content that isn't just straight up gameplay. But I definitely think you should give Gotham Knights a go. It's worth a try, and especially if you can just drag a friend into playing it with you.